Hi and welcome to Automailer's system demo. In this presentation, I'll be discussing with you how the system works in terms of functionalities, limitations, and I'll be also addressing a couple of frequently asked questions that we normally receive. Now to start off, Automailer is a cold email marketing automation tool. It enables you to set up and launch campaigns to your cold or purchase list. One of the most frequently asked questions we receive is, can I send out to a purchase list? And the answer is absolutely yes. This does not mean that it is only solely focused on cold email marketing. Obviously, if you have an opt-in list like your newsletter subscribers, you can definitely use Automailer to send out a drip campaign to that list as well. Now, in terms of functionality, how Automailer works is it integrates or uses your actual email address to send out the campaign. So if you navigate here to the Accounts tab, there are different connections that the system has. So these are the different types of emails you can integrate to. As you can see, there's the SMTP type of connection. This is like if you have a SMTP type of email, you know the SMTP server and IMAP server settings, you can use this connection. You can do Yahoo Mail or Outlook, or if you have like a Gmail or G Suite account and want to use that email to send out a campaign, you can absolutely connect using Gmail and G Suite as well. So these are the different types of emails you can use to launch your campaigns in Automailer. Basically, Automailer will use your email to send out the campaign. Now, another frequently asked question we receive is, how many emails can I send out per day? That will depend on what type of email you're using to send out the campaign. So, example, you're using like Gmail or G Suite. The system limitation for that specific email is going to be like 100 to 150 emails per day, because we have to follow whatever limitations Gmail has for sending out emails. Since Automailer uses your actual email to send out the campaign, we have to follow whatever send limitations your email address has. In general, the system itself has a maximum capacity of sending out a maximum number of 300 emails per day. Again, this will vary on what type of email you're using, but the maximum volume you can send out per day is 300 emails per day. This is per email account. So obviously, if you add multiple different emails in your account, you can send out multiple different campaigns, and the send limitation is strictly on that email address. So 2 email accounts will be able to send out 600 emails per day. Now I'm going to basically run through the system's different tabs that we have here. We already talked about the email account section. Let's go to the dashboard. So the dashboard has basic statistics, how many emails were sent out, how many opened, how many replied, how many bounced. There is like a graph that shows actual traction. So this is based on sent, opened, replies, etc. There's also a recent activity log. So the recent activity log, basically it's like a timestamp where every time Automailer sends out an email or you receive a reply, there's going to be some sort of a activity that is going to populate under the recent activity log. The next tab we'll talk about is the context tab. So this is where you upload your list into the system. There is no, I would say, limitation to how many lists you upload. You can upload as many contacts as you like, but in terms of like file size, you don't want to be uploading any more than 70 megabytes per file size that you're uploading. So to upload a list, simply navigate to the contacts, click on create list, select the file that you want to upload, name the file, and then click on create list. This will then route to the mapping page. This is where you can specify what type of header you want to use in your personalization token. So example, if you have 2 different first name columns in your list, you want to specify which is going to be the primary header column that the system will use to populate that personalization token. So in this file, I just have 4 different header columns: first name, last name, email, and company. And these are mapped accordingly. All I have to do is click on next, and the system will upload your file in your account. The duration of upload will depend on how large the list is, but normally it usually takes just a couple of minutes. Now, in each Automailer subscription that you avail of, you will be assigned specific list verification credits. So for example, we have the first starter package. You'll have 1,000 list verification credits. What those credits are used for is you can scrub your list to make sure that your list is clean. It will identify any bad or invalid type of emails. So let's say you are on the starter package. All you have to do to clean your list is make sure it's selected and click on clean list, and then say yes, and then the system will clean the list. It will then automatically mark out any bad email addresses that have been identified in your list. The next tab that I'll talk about is the messages tab. So the messages, this is basically going to be like your inbox section in your typical email address. So in your email account, anything that Automailer sends out will be actually found in your sent items in your email account, and anything that Automailer receives from a campaign, it will populate under the inbox section here. That reply is also going to be visible inside your actual email address that you're using to send out the campaign. So whatever Automailer sends out and receives is going to be found in your actual email address as well. For replies, the system will pick up any reply that you receive based on your campaigns, and it will try to identify and segregate it by auto reply or inbox. So if you receive like, I am out of the office right now, the system will identify it and tag it as an auto reply, which will be found here. So basically the messages section, this is basically like your inbox in your actual email address. Next is the exclusions. So exclusion, this is basically where you'll find people who have unsubscribed to your campaign. Exclusions, this is where you can upload specific emails that you don't want to be sending to. So if you have a list of people who unsubscribe to previous campaigns and you want to make sure that the system will not send out to those people, you can upload that under exclusions. This will identify and let the system know that do not send anyone under the exclusions tab. So exclusions are setting up or uploading a list, letting the system know do not send to these emails. And then the unsubscribes is basically where if someone unsubscribes to your campaign, that unsubscribe email will be found here. Next thing I'll talk about is the template section. So templates, this is basically where you can create your email template that you're going to be using in your account. So let's say add a new template. It will route to like the HTML template editor. All you have to do is name the template, and then you can simply type out your template here. Click on save, and that template should be uploaded in your account. You can also upload HTML templates. So if you have, let's say, an HTML template, you can simply upload that template in here, and it should populate that template in here as well. So this template can be then used when you're creating a campaign, which I'm going to show you later on. The next tab I'll discuss is the settings tab. So settings, there is the sending speed options. There are user settings. This is where you can change out your password or your time zone. There's the reports tab. This is where you can generate a report for a specific campaign. So if you want to extract data for a specific campaign, all you have to do is select what campaign you want to get that data from, click on generate report, and it will download the CSV file that shows people who opened, clicked, replied, etc. So that's how you generate the report in the system. The system will show basic statistics on each campaign under the dashboard, or if you go to the campaigns tab in here, it will show how many were sent, opened, clicked, and replies. If you want to extract this data, you do this by going to the settings and then reports. Another thing that I want to show you is the sub-accounts feature. So sub-accounts, this is basically where if you are working in a team and you have a specific person who's going to be running a campaign for you and you don't want to give them access to your main account, you can create a sub-account in your main account. So let's say add sub account. Then you can add their username, password, and then specify what role they are going to be using. So basically, what is the role of this specific sub account? Let's say they're going to be a user, and then you can specify what type of things they can access or restrict. So if you do check all roles, basically this sub account can view a list, add, edit, etc. So you can specifically restrict what the sub account can do. This is very useful for marketers who have a team of people and each person has their own campaign that they're going to be running. So basically what you can do is create sub accounts for your staff and then provide them their individual username and password. They can log into the system and they'll have their own basically account that is going to be under your main sub account. So let's say this is the sub account that I'll be creating. There it is. So in here, you can then assign an email address to that specific sub account so that the sub account can run a campaign. And then if you want that person to log in, all you have to do is provide them their username and password that you set up, and they'll be able to log into the system. Another tab I'll show you is the tutorials page. So tutorials, we have a couple of tutorials that are in here that will help you navigate and know how to use the system. But as you can see, the system is really meant to be very easy to use. There are different types of tutorials in here, launching a campaign, email accounts, etc. So these are very helpful if you want to learn how to navigate the system even further. We have a support tab here. So we do have a submit ticket option. So if you have a concern or you need help in a specific thing, you can always reach out via support. All you have to do is submit a support ticket under the support tab. Make sure you input the information, subject line, and then the message, what your concern is, and then send it. That will go out to the entire support staff, and we usually get back to you within 24 hours of receiving the support ticket. Now, the last thing I'm going to show you is to create an actual campaign. So first thing I'm going to do is to actually link an email address. So in this example, I'm just going to connect my Gmail account. And then allow. Let's give it some time, and there it is. So this is where the system now has integrated my email address into Automailer. So basically, anything I send out is going to be sent from my actual email address that I have connected. Next thing you want to do is to make sure you check your sending speed. So as I discussed initially, the system limitations will depend on what type of email you're using. In this scenario, I connected my Gmail account, so I'm just going to say I'm going to use the getting started sending speed. So to change or to optimize your sending speeds, go to settings, sending speeds, select that email, and select what package or sending option that you want to use for your campaigns. Usually if it is like a Gmail or Yahoo, you want to be always sending out on the getting started sending speed, because this is usually what is required or the limitation of Gmail and Yahoo, etc. If you have like an SMTP type of email, this is where you can utilize the semi-pro or pro sending. But again, the maximum volume per day that the system has is just 300 emails per day. So in this scenario, I'm just going to say getting started, and that's going to be my sending speed for this campaign. I have already uploaded like a demo list here. I have adjusted my sending speed, and then I've added my email account. So the last thing to do is to create an actual campaign. So very top right, click on create a new campaign, name the campaign, and then this is where you select what email you want to be sending from. So you can add multiple email addresses in your account depending on what package you select. So this is where you select what email the system is going to be using to send out the campaign. Next is to select the list you're going to be sending to under the contact section. So all the different lists that you uploaded are going to be found here. So simply select the list you'll be sending to. And then this setting is stop sending email to contact when. So since Automailer is like a drip campaign email automation tool, you can set up a sequence of emails that you're going to be constantly sending out to your contacts. So this setting here says stop sending email if someone replies. So let's say you set up a drip campaign and then they reply to email number 1, email number 2, 3, and 4, or whatever sequence you have set up will not send out to that specific record if you select email has a reply. And this is usually best practice because you want to take a look and see what that reply is. Maybe the reply is, please do not email me anymore. You don't want to be constantly sending out to that person who said, do not email me. So this is where setting up the campaign as email has reply comes into action. If you do campaign is finished, this will basically send out the entire drip until the entire campaign has been completed. In this scenario, I'm just going to say email has a reply and then click on next. Now to then come to the campaign creation page. So the compose message page or the campaign creation page, this is where you can type in your subject line and then select the template. Remember, we uploaded a template in here. So let's say this is the template I'm going to be using. You can block off specific days. So I want this campaign to be only running Monday to Friday. And then I will say add a drip. So this is the drip campaign that I want to send out. So I'm going to do 2 days later and then if they do not open. So what the setting means is 2 days after email number 1 sends out, if they do not open email number 1, 2 days later, they're going to receive this email number 2. So email number 2, and then I can simply right? So you can select a template or you can type in your message here, block off specific days again. And then if you want to add another drip, you can go ahead and add another drip. So I would do then 3 days after unopened. So this will basically, I want this to be like my quote unquote breakup email. So 3 days after they don't receive, they don't open email number 2, I'm going to set up this email to be sent out. So this is going to be like my final email, block of specific days, and this is the campaign that I've run. So email number 1 will go out. 2 days later, if they do not open the email, email number 2 will go out, and then 3 days after email number 2, if they still do not open, the third email will go out. The different triggers you can set up are no condition, so regardless if they open or unopen, they'll receive the next email. If you do opened, this is basically saying trigger the second email. If they open the first email, second email will go out. Or you can do link clicked. So if you have a link in here and you want that to be a trigger for the campaign to send out the second or the sequence email, you can do link clicked as well. So let's do unopened and then unopened. Or let's do opened. Right? So building out this campaign is you really want to nurture these people who are, let's say, opening the email but they're not replying to you or not getting in touch with you. So you want to follow up with them in a series of emails. So as you can see, this has multiple purposes depending on what type of campaign you're running. If you're running like a lead generation campaign, this is the approach that you want to do. If you have just like a regular newsletter as well, you can set up obviously your newsletter to be sent out in a drip as well. So let's say this is the campaign that I want to be sending out. Click on next. It will give you like a brief preview of how the email is going to look. This looks good to me. Click on next. And then I would select the date and time I want it to send out. So I want this campaign to launch on Wednesday at, let's do 8:30 a.m. and I'll say start campaign. So it will then go to the campaigns tab and it will say pending. So the date and time I set it up is the date and time the campaign is going to launch. So under the campaigns tab, this is where you can filter out per status of the campaign. So if it's a completed, you want to filter by completed, inactive, paused, pending, etc. In here as well, you can edit out the campaign. Let's say you want to change out the email message or change out the contacts. You can do that as well under the campaigns tab. So as you can see, this is how easy it is to use. It's pretty straightforward. We made the system specifically for email marketers who don't want a lot of different fancy functionalities. Just set up a drip campaign targeting their code list or their opt-in list, let the system send out, and all you have to do is just to monitor your inbox section in here. But again, anything that Automailer sends or receives is also found in your actual email address. So there are two ways to monitor if someone is replying to your campaign. And that's it. This is how Automailer is. Most common questions, yes, you can absolutely send out to your code list. How many emails you can send out, it will depend on what type of email you're using to connect and send with. Maximum number you can send out system limitation wide is just 300 emails per day. Now scaling with Automailer, obviously if you want to send out more volumes, you have to connect more email addresses to your account and utilize each email address per campaign. So there's going to be more documentation on how to do this, but it's absolutely possible to send out larger volumes in Automailer as well. That's it for this presentation. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to our support, or you can directly chat us on our website. We're mostly available Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time. Channels of support, as I mentioned, is usually it's support tickets or chat. You will actually also have access to one of the client success managers, direct email address, so you can email directly to your campaign or client success manager as well. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And yeah, see you in the inside. Thank you very much.